Hi, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week. And I hope you guys are managing to stay safe from this whole coronavirus thing. I don't know about you guys. I am starting to lose track of what day it is. Funny story, just the other day, I was talking with a friend, and for some reason, he was saying how something was going to happen on a certain day, and I was like, oh yeah. That's not supposed to happen until tomorrow, though. Because in my mind, I was thinking it was Saturday, right? But then I thought, oh wait, he was like, what are you talking about? It's not going to happen tomorrow. I said, yeah. Oh wait, no, it's Sunday. It's Sunday. For some reason, I keep thinking it's feeling like Saturday. And he's like, you realize it's Monday night, right? I was like, I had to think about it for a while. I was like, oh yeah, I guess we had class today. So I was like, in my mind, I was thinking it was Saturday, and it was actually, I was 2 days off. It was Monday night. So hopefully you guys are, I think I'm starting to lose my mind. Hopefully you guys are staying a little bit more sane than I am, keeping track of the days better than I am, because I don't know, I'm losing it, I think. So let's go ahead and get into today's lesson. We're moving right along with Module 15. Today our objective is to organize and analyze categorical data. Okay. We're going to start off with the Explore activity number 1, creating a relative frequency table. Okay. So we talked about how we can create frequency tables the past couple lessons, two-way frequency tables. Today we're talking about relative frequency. The frequency table below shows the results of a survey that Maria took at her school. She asked 50 randomly selected students whether they preferred dogs, cats, or other pets. So some of you probably have your own opinions here on what you prefer. For me, we have a dog, but I prefer cats. Okay, I like cats a lot. Unfortunately, we can't have cats because we have allergic issues. So we aren't able to have cats, but I do love cats. Okay, so convert this table to a relative frequency table that uses decimals as well as one that uses percents. Okay, so step A here says, so here's our frequency table right here. So there's a total number of 50 people surveyed. 22 people said that they prefer dogs. 15 people said they prefer cats. And then 13 people said they prefer other. So maybe it's a hamster, gerbil, fish, something like that. Okay. Now, to calculate relative frequencies, we divide the numbers in the relative frequency table by the total to obtain the relative frequencies as decimals. Okay, so the first one's given for us. We take the 22 for dogs. We take 22, divide it by the total of 50, to get 0.44, which as a percent, that's 44%. Okay, now for cat, what do you think we would do? Well, we take the number of cat owners, or cat preferers, and divide that by the total. So we're going to do 15 divided by 50, which is equal to 0.3, or 30%. And then for other, we're going to take this number of people that said other, divide it by the total number of people. So 13 divided by 50 equals 0.26, or 26%. Okay? And now to get the total, we just add up each of these three numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our calculator here, and I'm going to add up all these things. What should each of these add up to? If we're talking about a total number of percent, well, we want 100% total. So I want my totals added up. So 44% plus 30% plus 26%. And you can see that this adds up to 100%. Okay, so we are good to go here. That is a total of 100%. Okay, this is how you create a relative frequency table. Now you can also create a two-way relative frequency table. We talked about a two-way frequency table before, comparing two different things before. Okay. So in the previous explore activity, the categorical variable was pet preference, and the variable had 3 possible data values: dog, cat, and other. The frequency table listed the frequency for each value of that single variable. If you have 2 categorical variables whose values have been paired, you list the frequencies of the paired values in a two-way frequency table. Let's show you what that is. Okay, so here it says, for her survey, Maria also recorded the gender of each student. So in the first one, right, if we go back, this just lists people total. Doesn't have them broken down by male or female, right? It says 22 dogs, 15 cats, 13 other. In this one, though, she specifies between boy or girl. Okay, so each entry is the frequency of students who prefer a certain pet and are a certain gender, so if they're a boy or a girl. For instance, 10 girls prefer dogs as pets. Okay, so we're going to complete this table. Part A says find the total for each gender by adding the frequencies in each row. So we want to find the total here. So we want 10 plus 9 plus 3. Well, 10 plus 9 is 19. 19 plus 3 is 22 total girls responded to the survey. Part. Okay, now for the boys, we want 12 plus 6 plus 10. 12 plus 6, that's 18. 18 plus 10 is 28. Okay. And then part B says find the total for each pet by adding the frequencies in each column. So we want to know how many of each pet were preferred between boys and girls. So we take 10 plus 12 to get 22 people preferred dogs. For cats, we take 9 plus 6. That's 15 students preferred pet or preferred cats. And then other, we've got 3 plus 10, 13 people preferred other. Okay, and then part C, find the grand total, which is the sum of the total of the row totals as well as the sum of the column totals. Write this in the lower right corner. So we're going to take, this should be 22 plus 28, which is 50. Okay, these three also should end up adding up to 50 as well. 22 plus 15 is 37. 37 plus 13 is 50. Okay. So this is what's called a two-way frequency table. Okay, we kind of did this before as well. Now, explore activity 3. Now we are creating a two-way relative frequency table. So we just did a relative frequency table a second ago when we calculated those percents. Now we're going to use the two-way frequency table we just made to create a two-way relative frequency table. Now, there's some vocab words here that I want you to jot down because it's important to remember the difference between both these, okay? You can obtain relative frequencies from a two-way frequency table. A joint relative frequency table is found by dividing a frequency that is not in the total row. Keyword there, not in the total row. So dividing a frequency that is not in the total row by the total column. Oh, sorry. Let me repeat that. It's found by dividing a frequency that is not in the total row or the total column by the grand total. So you take, let's say you have, your box here, right? You're going to take this, one of these numbers that's inside these, and you're going to divide it by the grand total. That's the joint relative frequency, dividing a frequency that is not in the total row or the total column, and divide that by the grand total. This is the grand total. These right here are the ones that aren't in the total column or total row, okay? Then a marginal relative frequency is found by dividing a row total or a row column by the grand total. So the row total would be something like this. The column total would be something like this. You take one of those, divide those by the grand total. That's the difference between the joint relative frequency and the marginal relative frequency. Okay, a two-way relative frequency table displays both joint relative frequencies and marginal relative frequencies. Okay. All right, so it says create a two-way relative frequency table for Maria's data. Part A, divide each number in the two-way frequency table from the previous explore activity by the grand total. Write the quotients as decimal. So each of these, what type of relative frequency is each of these going to be? Okay, we're taking something not in a row or a column total, and we're going to divide it by the grand total. Well, that is joint relative frequency. So we're going to find the joint relative frequency for these 6 boxes right here by taking, we're going to go back to the relative frequency table that we just did. We're taking what number is right here divided by the grand total. Okay, so let's go back 1 second. So let's look at, so they already did this first one. There were 10 people or 10 girls that preferred dogs. Take 10 divided by the grand total of 50 to get 0.2. Now let's see how many girls preferred cats. That's 9. Okay, so we're going to take the 9 divided by the grand total of 50 to find the relative frequency. So 9 divided by 50, that's 0.18. And then we're going to find other. How many girls preferred other? Okay, so there are 3 girls that preferred other. So we're going to come over here. 3 divided by the grand total of 50 gives us 0.06 or 60%. Okay, now let's go to the boys. Okay, the boys, we have 12 that preferred dogs. So we're going to do 12 divided by the grand total of 50, which is 0.24. Again, I can do these in my head, but one way you can do them, if you can't do them in your head, just use a calculator. Okay, do 12 divided by 50. Now we want the boys that preferred cats. Okay, I'd be in one of those. Okay, so boys, there are 6 that preferred cats. Take that divided by the grand total of 50. So 6 divided by 50 is 0.12. And the last, we want the number of boys that preferred other. That's 10 preferred other. So 10 divided by 50 gives us a relative frequency of 0.2 or 20%. Okay. Now, it says part B says check by adding the joint relative frequencies in a row or column to see if the sum equals that row or column's marginal relative frequency. So let's find the marginal relative frequency. Remember, the marginal relative frequency is now when we take this row total and divide it by the grand total. So 22 divided by 50. So we want 22 divided by 50. That's 0.44. Okay. Marginal relative frequency here, 28 divided by 50. Okay, that's equal to 0.56. Okay, let's go back. Let's find these. So the total number of dog prefers is 22. So 22 divided by 50 has that done for us is 0.44. Cats, we've got 15 divided by 50 is 0.3. And then last we want the other. Total of 13 students preferred other. So 13 divided by 50 is 0.26. Okay. Remember, all these should add up to 1 now. So if we take these two, add them together. Okay, so it says check by adding the joint relative frequencies in a row or column to see if the sum equals the row or column's marginal relative frequency. So we're going to add each of these, should add up to that number right there. So 0.2 plus 0.18 is 0.38. 0.38 plus 0.06 is 0.44. So that's good there. Now we want to add these together to make sure they add up to this. So 0.24 plus 0.12 is 0.36. 0.36 plus 0.2 is 0.56. Okay, so both of those are good. We can also do columns as well. 0.02 plus 0.24 is 0.44. 0.18 plus 0.12, that's 0.30. And then 0.06 plus 0.2 is 0.26. Okay? So that's how you set up a relative frequency table. Okay? If you guys have any questions over any of this, feel free to email me. We will. So this is just the first half of the lesson. We're going to finish it on Friday. Okay. Your assignment, there is none for today. Okay. So you guys get the day off for today for actual homework. There will be homework though on Friday once we finish up this lesson. So I hope you guys have a great day. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. We'll see you guys on Friday. Oh, also, I almost forgot. If you do have questions, today we are having the Canvas live Q&A at 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Feel free to stop by and ask questions if you haven't. I know we don't have any homework today, but if you have any questions over previous assignments, tests or quizzes, or your grade or whatever, feel free to stop on by. Okay, see you guys.